got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
2 days before the new year, something was wrong inside a home in Columbus, Ohio. A couple stopped responding. That alone raised concern. When police entered the house, they found both parents dead upstairs, and their children were still there. There was no forced entry and no indication of a robbery. Investigators quickly determined the killings had been targeted. The evidence led them across multiple states through surveillance systems designed to be unnoticed and toward a man who returned to work the same morning the bodies were discovered. The answers were already waiting in the past. This is the Tepe murder case. It was 2 days before the new year. Holiday decorations were still hanging in the Wineland Park neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio. Lights were up. Wreaths were still on doors. On the surface, it was a neighborhood in transition. Renovated homes, young families, professionals moving in. A place that felt like it was finally turning a corner. But on the morning of December 30, 2025, something was wrong at a house on 7th Avenue. Friends and family had been trying to reach Monique Tepe and Dr. Spencer Tepe. They were newly married, close with relatives, normally responsive. But calls went straight to voicemail. Messages stayed unread. Hours passed with no explanation. Spencer's boss, Mark Valros, immediately knew something was wrong and called for a welfare check.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual at their home. Well, I'm currently in the state of Florida. I'm on vacation, but this individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
2
in
kids in the
Florida.
home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work, and he runs the office.
Did you receive information that he may have been involved in an accident, or?
No, ma'am. I just know that he is he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. We're very, very concerned because this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning thing.
Okay. We will send somebody over as soon as we have an officer available, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
When officers arrived, nothing looked unusual from the outside. No broken windows, no forced door. The house looked like any other on a quiet weekday morning. But Spencer's friend were not willing to just let this go and call 911 again.
911, what's the location of your emergency? Okay, what's the emergency there, police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the
we already
wellness.
had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, all right, well, we'll send them back out to you.
Okay, thanks.
And one of his friends and co-workers, Alex Diddy, drove to the house themselves. And that is where the tone of this case changes completely.
911, what's the location of your emergency? We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
All right. I mean, what's going on there?
There's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead.
Okay.
There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
tell he's obviously not breathing or anything?
Yeah.
Is it like puddle, does he look like...
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. And then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday? Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
37.
37, okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
When officers arrived, that's where they found them. Monique Tepe, 39 years old, and her husband Spencer, 37, were dead. Both had been shot. And then officers made another discovery. Inside the same house, 2 young children were found alive, physically unharmed. They had been in the home while their parents' bodies were upstairs. Whoever committed the killings had entered the house, moved through it, and left again without harming the children. The house wasn't ransacked. Valuables were still there. There were no signs of a struggle downstairs. From the beginning, this did not look random.
Monique and Spencer Tepe were not people who lived on the margins. Spencer was a physician, well regarded, early in his career, but clearly on a path that many people around him described as promising. He had recently married Monique and was settling into what was supposed to be a stable new chapter. Monique was described by friends and family as warm and resilient. Her life had not been simple. She had been through a difficult marriage in the past, but she had left it behind and remarried. Also, she created a home that felt safe. They had only been married a short time. This was meant to be their first holiday season as a settled family. That context mattered because investigators at the scene quickly ruled out robbery. Nothing had been taken. There was no forced entry. Whoever came to that house came for the people inside it. When homicide detectives see a double murder with no theft and no obvious break-in, they don't start with strangers. They start with history. And Monique's history mattered.
Before marrying Spencer, Monique had been married to another doctor, Dr. Michael McKee, a vascular surgeon based in Rockford, Illinois. On paper, McKee looked successful, highly educated, employed and stable. Court records told a different story. Documents later revealed allegations of domestic violence during his relationship with Monique. There were reports of strangulation, threats. At one point, according to records, McKee allegedly told her, "I can kill you anytime." Monique eventually left. She divorced him and moved forward with her life. She also took precautions, installing high fencing and security cameras and putting distance between herself and her past. But distance does not always end fixation. Once investigators learned about the prior relationship, their focus shifted quickly. McKee lived hours away in Illinois. He had a demanding job. On the surface, it seemed unlikely that he could disappear long enough to commit a crime in another state and return unnoticed. Unless it had been planned.
Several months before the murders, there was an incident that didn't draw attention at the time. In April 2025, police show that a 911 call was placed from the Tepe residence. The caller did not give a name, but was identified by dispatch as female. No arrest followed. The call was logged, then quietly closed. Police were never able to confirm who made that call. But the address mattered. It came from the same house, and it raised a question investigators would only return to later.
Hi, this is 911. We just got a hang-up call. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're crying. Do you need police, paramedics, or anything?
No, I'm okay. I promise. I'm just emotional. I'm okay. I don't need nothing.
Well, can I ask what had you call 911 in the first place? Like, were you having an argument with somebody?
Me and my man got into it, but I'm okay. I promise.
Did anything ever get physical?
No.
You guys were just arguing, nobody hit each other?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I have the information here. I can go ahead and tell the officers to cancel hitting over to your address there at 1411 North 4th Street.
Yes.
If anything changes, call us back.
Okay.
All right,
I'm sorry.
If it was Monique, that long pause, it suggested fear, or at the very least, concern serious enough to reach for help. Investigators would later view that moment differently, not as an isolated incident, but as part of a longer pattern, a reminder that the danger did not suddenly appear in December. It had been present, quietly, months earlier. Surveillance footage from December 6, 2025, became critical. That weekend, Monique and Spencer were out of town, attending the Big Ten championship game. Their house was empty, but the cameras recorded movement. A figure appeared in the alley behind the home. He didn't pass through, he entered the backyard. He moved slowly around the property, observing it. He wasn't there long, but he was deliberate. Police later identified the man in that footage as Michael McKee. Investigators described the visit as reconnaissance, learning the layout, understanding sightlines, noticing cameras. The house was empty, but the visit wasn't casual. It suggested preparation. On December 29, 2025, McKee's digital footprint changed. For roughly 17 hours, his primary cell phone went inactive. No movement, pings, and no data trail. Investigators believe the phone was intentionally left behind in Illinois to create the appearance that he hadn't gone anywhere. But while his phone stayed silent, a vehicle began moving across the Midwest. License plate readers and traffic cameras later picked it up traveling east from the Rockford area, through Indiana, and into Ohio. To avoid detection, investigators allege McKee used stolen license plates, but instead of choosing plates at random, the plates he used were connected to addresses where he had previously lived. That decision created a trail instead of hiding one. The drive from Rockford to Columbus takes roughly 6 to 7 hours. He arrived during the early morning hours when the streets were quiet. Cameras in Wineland Park recorded a hooded figure moving through the same alley he had visited weeks earlier. He walked with purpose. Investigators believe he entered the home shortly after. What happened inside is known only through forensic evidence. There is no public record of what was said or whether anyone woke up before the shots were fired. What police have stated is that both Monique and Spencer were shot and killed. The children were not harmed. No neighbors reported hearing gunfire. Investigators noted the absence of noise, but have not publicly confirmed the use of any specific equipment. Afterward, the figure was seen leaving the alley. The vehicle departed Columbus and headed west. By morning, McKee was back in Illinois. The same day the bodies were discovered, Michael McKee returned to his normal routine. According to reports, he went back to work at the hospital. He interacted with colleagues. He treated patients. While investigators in Ohio processed a homicide scene, McKee resumed life as a practicing surgeon. Detectives would later describe this behavior as compartmentalization, the ability to separate actions from outward behavior. But the evidence was already catching up. In early January 2026, investigators obtained search warrants in Illinois. During the search of McKee's property, they recovered a firearm. Ballistics testing later confirmed that shell casings recovered from the Tepe home matched the firearm found in McKee's possession.
Attack. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee. And there is a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicide.
The same search also uncovered evidence connected to the vehicle used during the trip, including stolen license plates traced back to his prior residences. The forensic link placed the weapon at the scene. A Franklin County grand jury indicted Michael McKee on 4 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of aggravated burglary. 2 murder counts were tied directly to the deaths of Monique and Spencer Tepe. The additional counts addressed prior calculation and design, a legal determination that the killings were planned in advance. Prosecutors pointed to the December 6th scouting trip, the deliberate silence of the phone, the plate swapping, and the cross-state travel as evidence of preparation.
By mid-January 2026, McKee was brought before an Ohio court for arraignment. He entered a not guilty plea to all charges. At that stage, the defense did not argue for bond. McKee remains in custody as the case moves into the pre-trial phase. As of January 28, 2026, the case is proceeding quietly. Attorneys on both sides are reviewing evidence, filing motions, and preparing for trial. No trial date has been set. The public phase of the case has slowed. The legal phase has begun. Monique and Spencer Tepe were laid to rest. Their families are now responsible for raising the 2 children who were inside the house that morning. The neighborhood of Wineland Park has not forgotten what happened on 7th Avenue. This case is no longer about mystery. Investigators believe they know who did it and how. What remains is accountability. The trial will test timelines, data, and forensic evidence line by line. And when it finally begins, it will focus on how a man trained to save lives allegedly planned and carried out their destruction. Because long after the noise fades, after the headlines disappear, what's left are the details that don't go away. The patterns, the evidence, and the choices that led here. This is what remains behind the trace.